You buy one thing you didn't plan to buy, and somehow your bank account feels like it got mugged in a dark alley. You didn't go on a shopping spree, you didn't lose control. You aren't stupid, but the money is gone. Here's the weird part that nobody talks about. Why does buying a new phone magically force you to buy new earbuds, a case, a charger, and a Spotify premium subscription? Why does one purchase unlock 10 more that you never asked for? Why does buying a new sofa suddenly make your curtains look ugly, forcing you to remodel your entire living room? Today, I'm going to show you exactly why this happens. And no, I'm not going to tell you to budget harder or stop buying lattes. That advice is trash. We're going to look at the hidden psychological system that is draining your wallet right now. It's a glitch in your brain that marketers have been exploiting for centuries. By the end of this video, you'll see your spending habits so clearly it's going to feel a little creepy. Like I've been spying on your bank app because you're not bad with money. You're just playing a game and nobody told you the rules. Let's cut the BS right away. Most people think they overspend because they lack discipline or willpower. Wrong. If discipline was the problem, millionaires wouldn't go broke. But guess what? Working in finance for 9 years, I've analyzed hundreds of private bank statements, and I've seen guys making $300,000 a year with $0 in the bank. They have discipline at work. They run companies. They run marathons. But they are broke at home. Why? It's not because they buy too much stuff. It's because one purchase quietly rewrites their identity. This is called the Diderot Effect. It's named after Denis Diderot, a French philosopher from the 1700s. He was poor his whole life until he suddenly got a bunch of money and bought a beautiful scarlet robe. That robe was fancy. Too fancy. When he wore it in his messy, dusty apartment, everything else looked like trash compared to the robe. So he replaced his rug, then his chairs, then his desk. He spent all his money trying to make his environment match his robe. In the end, he was broke again. Does this sound familiar? Today, we don't buy scarlet robes. We buy iPhones, we buy Lululemon leggings, we buy Teslas. But the trap is exactly the same. You don't buy things in isolation. You buy clusters. And once you upgrade one part of your life, everything else suddenly looks ugly. Let me make this painfully relatable. You buy a decent jacket, nothing crazy. Just a nice one for work because you got a promotion. Suddenly, your old shoes look like trash next to it. They look worn out. Your backpack feels cheap. It's for students, not professionals. Your watch doesn't match the vibe. Even your usual coffee spot feels a bit too low budget for the new you. You didn't decide to spend more money. Your environment bullied you into it. Your brain hates inconsistency. Psychologists call this the drive for unity or Gestalt. We view our life as a complete picture. When one piece of the picture is high definition and the rest is low resolution, your brain triggers a stress response. It feels like a crooked painting on a wall. You have to straighten it. Marketers know this. That's why IKEA sets up entire fake rooms. They aren't selling you a chair, they are selling you the modern Scandinavian identity. If you buy the chair, you unknowingly sign a contract to buy the lamp, the rug, and the fake plant to match. And this is why most generic money advice fails. They tell you to track expenses. They tell you to cut lattes. They tell you to be mindful. That's like trying to stop a tsunami with a paper towel. The Diderot Effect isn't a math problem. It's an identity problem. I want you to see the real price tag, not the emotional one, the numerical one. Let's say you buy that new iPhone for $1,000. That's the number on the receipt. That's the number you justify. I use it every day. It's worth it. But the real cost isn't $1,000. It's the $60 per month phone plan upgrade to get 5G. It's the $200 AirPods because the phone doesn't have a headphone jack. It's the $15 per month cloud storage because the photos are bigger. It's the $12 per month streaming services you suddenly need to enjoy the 4K screen. And let's not forget the social cost. Now that you have the latest tech, showing up to a meeting with a chunky, slow, loud laptop feels wrong. So you upgrade your laptop 2 years earlier than you planned. Maybe you even buy an iPad for productivity. That one phone quietly signs you up for an extra $250 a month in lifestyle maintenance. That's $3,000 a year. Over 10 years, that's $30,000. Gone. Invested in the S&P 500, that could have been $50,000 towards your retirement. All for a phone you threw away 8 years ago. This is why people tell me, I make good money, but I don't know where it goes. It went into feeding the beast of your new identity. You aren't purchasing products, you are purchasing upgrades to your character. And high-level characters have high maintenance costs. Now here's the mistake everyone makes. They try to stop the spending after the identity shift has already happened. They say, I'll just be more careful next month. I'll say no next time. I'll budget harder. That is a lie you tell yourself. Once your identity upgrades, spending feels logical, not impulsive. You're not buying junk. You're aligning your lifestyle. It feels rational in the moment. You justify it by saying, well, I need the fast charger to charge the phone properly. Or, I need the professional clothes to represent my company. You wrap your spending in logic, but the driver is pure emotion. It's dopamine. The anticipation of the new you releases dopamine, but that feeling fades fast. This is called hedonic adaptation. The new car smells great for a month. Then it's just a car. So you need the next upgrade to feel that hit again. It's a treadmill that never stops. So instead of fighting that psychology with willpower, which is a limited resource, we're going to use systems. We need to hack the glitch. I'm going to give you a framework I've watched change people's financial lives without turning them into miserable penny counters. It's simple. It's uncomfortable at first, and it works because it deals with behavior, not fantasies. I call it controlled identity design. It has 3 steps. Step 1, find your leak zones. Look, you don't overspend everywhere. You're probably frugal with groceries but go crazy on tech. Or you're cheap with clothes but blow cash on fitness or travel. Find the pattern. Stop pretending every expense is random. It's not. I challenge you to look at your bank app right now. Scroll back 3 months. Ignore the rent, ignore the utilities. Look at the variable spending. Do you see a cluster of purchases around self-care? Or maybe a cluster around car mods? Those aren't just purchases. That is you trying to buy a feeling. Look at your last 6 months of bank statements and ask one brutal question. When I spend money impulsively, what version of myself am I trying to become? Not what you bought, who you were trying to be. More professional, more attractive, more disciplined, more successful? This isn't judgment. This is data. Because once you name the identity, you can design for it. Step 2, the guilt-free bucket. Here is where everyone messes up. They try to stop spending completely. That never works. Restriction leads to binging. It's like a crash diet. If you starve yourself of spending, you will eventually snap and blow $500 on nonsense just to feel something. Instead, pre-approve it. Literally say to yourself, I am allowed to spend $200 a month on fitness identity. Gym, protein, gear, whatever. But once that $200 is gone, that's it. The decision is made. No emotion, no negotiation. This one move alone kills 70% of impulse spending because the Diderot Effect feeds on unbounded upgrades. You just put boundaries around identity expansion. You create a sandbox. You can play in the sandbox, build castles, go crazy, but you cannot leave the sandbox. Step 3, the chain reaction filter. This is the most powerful hack. Before you buy anything over $50, ask one question. What else will this force me to buy? Visualize the item in your home. Don't look at it in the store. Look at it on your shelf. If you buy that new gaming console, will you also need a new TV, new controllers, online subscription? If the answer is yes and you haven't budgeted for the whole chain, you don't buy it. That 3-second pause will save you thousands of dollars because most expensive purchases aren't expensive alone. They're expensive because they demand friends. Never buy an item that hates your current inventory. Only buy items that make friends with what you already own.